Hey there, gearheads and grease monkeys. It's time to dive under the hood and tackle a crucial car maintenance task: changing your oil. Think of your car's engine as its heart. Just like our hearts need clean, healthy blood to function properly, your engine needs clean oil. Over time, engine oil gets dirty, picking up dirt, debris, and metal particles. This gunk can clog up your engine, reducing its performance and eventually leading to costly repairs. Regular oil changes are like giving your engine a refreshing drink of water. They keep it running smoothly and prevent premature wear and tear. We'll cover everything you need to know to tackle an oil change like a pro. We're going to break it down into easy-to-follow steps, so even if you're a complete beginner, you'll be feeling confident in no time. So grab your wrenches, roll up your sleeves, and let's get started. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's gather our tools and materials. Having everything prepped and ready will make the process smoother and more enjoyable. First, you'll need a fresh batch of engine oil. Check your owner's manual for the correct type and amount for your specific vehicle. Next up, grab a new oil filter. Again, your owner's manual is your best friend here. Pick up a drain pan to catch the old oil, a wrench that fits your drain plug, and a socket wrench for the oil filter. Safety first. Make sure your car is parked on a level surface and the engine is cool. Hot oil can cause serious burns. Wear old clothes that you don't mind getting dirty, and grab a pair of gloves to protect your hands. Now let's move on to the first step: draining the old oil. Alright folks, time to assemble our crack team of oil-changing tools. We're talking about basic tools you probably already have kicking around your garage. First up, you'll need a wrench that fits your oil drain plug. This little guy is usually located on the underside of your engine. Next, grab a socket wrench for the oil filter. Oil filters come in different sizes, so consult your owner's manual for the right fit. Now let's talk about catching that old oil. You'll need a drain pan, preferably one with a wide mouth to minimize spills. Finally, you'll need a funnel to pour the new oil in without making a mess. A trusty funnel is a mechanic's best friend, especially when dealing with fluids. Oh, and don't forget some rags or shop towels for cleaning up any drips or spills. Keep those hands clean, folks. Now that we've got our tools sorted, let's talk about the heart of the operation: the oil and filter. Choosing the right oil for your engine is crucial. Your owner's manual will tell you the recommended oil type and viscosity for your vehicle. Viscosity refers to the oil's thickness and how well it flows at different temperatures. Using the wrong oil can affect your engine's performance and even cause damage. Stick to what your manufacturer recommends. Next up, the oil filter. This little guy plays a vital role in removing dirt and debris from your engine oil, keeping it clean and flowing smoothly. Like oil filters come in various types and sizes. Refer to your owner's manual for the correct part number, or ask your friendly neighborhood auto parts store employee for assistance. Remember, using the right oil and filter is like giving your engine a healthy diet and exercise routine. It keeps things running smoothly and prevents premature wear and tear. Before we dive into the hands-on part, let's have a quick safety briefing. Working on your car can be dangerous if you don't take the proper precautions. First and foremost, make sure your car is parked on a level surface and the engine is cool. We don't want any hot oil surprises. While you're waiting, grab a pair of gloves to protect your hands from the hot oil and sharp edges. Make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area. Engine exhaust contains harmful fumes, so open your garage door or find a spot with good airflow. Remember, a little bit of caution goes a long way. So gear up, stay alert, and let's get this oil change done safely. Now that we've got our safety gear on, let's set up our workspace. Having a clean and organized area will make the entire process smoother and more enjoyable. First, gather all your tools and materials and place them within arm's reach. This way, you won't have to keep getting up and down, risking spills or losing your train of thought. Spread out some old newspaper or a drop cloth underneath your work area. This will catch any stray drips or spills, protecting your garage floor or driveway from unsightly oil stains. Make sure you have adequate lighting. Good lighting is crucial for seeing what you're doing, especially when working under the car. If your garage lighting is lacking, grab a portable work light or use a headlamp to illuminate your workspace. Now that we've got our tools, safety gear, and workspace prepped, let's move on to the fun part, draining the old oil. Alright folks, it's time to get up close and personal with the underbelly of your mechanical beast. Don't worry, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. Carefully slide under your vehicle. If you don't have a creeper, grab a piece of cardboard or an old blanket to protect yourself from the cold, hard ground. Locate the engine oil pan. This is usually a large, flat metal pan bolted to the bottom of your engine. It's where all that old, grimy oil hangs out, just waiting for us to set it free. Make sure you've got the right drain plug. Some vehicles have multiple plugs, so double-check your owner's manual or look for markings on the pan itself. We don't want to drain the wrong fluid. Trust me, that's a mistake you only make once. Now that you've spotted the oil pan, let's find that elusive drain plug. It's usually a bolt-like protrusion sticking out from the lowest point of the pan. Think of it as the belly button of your engine's oil reservoir. If you're having trouble finding it, consult your trusty owner's manual or search online for a diagram specific to your vehicle's make and model. Once you've located the drain plug, grab your wrench and make sure it fits snugly. We don't want any slip-ups when we start loosening things up. Before you completely remove the drain plug, position your drain pan directly underneath it. We want to catch every last drop of that old oil, minimizing the mess and making cleanup a breeze. Remember folks, a clean workspace is a happy workspace. Alright folks, here comes the moment of truth. With your drain pan securely in place, take a deep breath and start loosening the drain plug with your wrench. Turn it counterclockwise, remembering the age-old saying, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. As you loosen the plug, you'll feel the resistance decrease. Once the plug is loose enough to turn by hand, carefully unscrew it the rest of the way, being prepared for the onrush of used oil. As the oil begins to flow, keep a close eye on the stream. You'll notice it starts out as a thick, dark torrent, gradually thinning out as the pan empties. Let gravity do its thing and allow the oil to drain completely, usually around 10 to 15 minutes. While the old oil is bidding farewell, take a moment to inspect it. Is it extremely dark and gritty? Could be a sign you've pushed your oil change interval a bit too far. Do you see any shiny metallic particles swirling around? That could indicate excessive engine wear, something you definitely want to get checked out by a mechanic. On the other hand, if the oil is relatively clean and free of any alarming debris, congrats! You're doing a great job maintaining your engine. Once the oil has slowed to a trickle, it's time to reinstall the drain plug. Carefully thread it back into the oil pan by hand, making sure it's snug but not overly tight. Using your wrench, give the drain plug a final quarter to half turn to ensure a secure seal. Don't go overboard here. Now, with the old oil successfully drained, we're ready to move on to the next step, replacing the oil filter. Now that we've drained the old oil, it's time to replace the oil filter. First, locate the old oil filter. It's usually a cylindrical canister like a soup can. Use an oil filter wrench. Position yourself for a good grip. These can be tight, so use some muscle. Be prepared for some oil to spill. Spin it counterclockwise by hand until it comes off. Now let's install the new filter. With the old filter out of the picture, take a moment to admire your handiwork. That, my friend, is the face of engine sludge, captured and contained. Grab your new oil filter and give it a quick once-over. Make sure it matches the old one in size and type. See that rubber gasket on the top? That's what creates a tight seal to prevent leaks. Dip your finger in some fresh engine oil and lightly lubricate that gasket. This will help the filter seat properly and prevent it from binding when you tighten it down. Trust me, this little trick will save you a lot of headaches down the road. Now, with the gasket prepped and ready, it's time to install our shiny new filter. Alright folks, let's get this new filter in place and button things up. Carefully screw the new filter onto the engine block by hand, turning it clockwise. As you tighten the filter, you'll feel it bottom out against the engine block. This is a good sign. It means the gasket is making contact and starting to seal. Most oil filter manufacturers recommend tightening the filter an additional 3/4 to 1 full turn after the gasket makes contact. This ensures a secure seal without putting excessive stress on the filter or the engine block. However, it's always a good idea to consult your vehicle's owner's manual for specific torque specifications, just to be on the safe side. With the new filter securely in place, we're almost done, just a few more steps to go. Now let's move on to adding the new oil and wrapping up this oil change. Once you've tightened the filter to the recommended specs, take a moment to inspect your handiwork. Make sure it's seated straight and there are no visible gaps or leaks around the gasket. Give it a gentle wiggle to confirm it's secure. Remember, a tight filter is a leak-free filter. Now, before we get too carried away with our oil filter installation prowess, let's not forget about that open drain plug. Double check that the drain plug is securely tightened. We don't want any surprises when we add the new oil. Remember that final 1/4 to 1/2 turn with the wrench? That's what separates the amateurs from the pros. With the drain plug and oil filter buttoned up tight, we're finally ready to move on to the most satisfying part of this whole operation: adding the new oil. All right, folks, we're in the home stretch. With the old oil drained and the new filter in place, it's time to introduce our engine to the good stuff, fresh, clean oil. Think of it as giving your car a revitalizing elixir, ready to tackle thousands of miles. Before you pour that golden liquid, remember the importance of using the correct oil. Check your owner's manual for the recommended oil type and capacity. Once confirmed, locate the oil filler cap on your engine. With the filler cap located, we're ready to proceed to the next crucial step: funneling that liquid gold. Now, pouring oil into an engine might seem like a no-brainer, but trust me, there's a bit of finesse involved. We want to avoid creating an oil volcano under the hood, right? That's where our trusty funnel comes into play. Remember that handy tool we gathered earlier? It's time for it to shine. Place the funnel securely into the oil filler opening. This will help guide the oil into the engine smoothly and prevent any messy spills. Now grab your fresh bottle of oil and carefully pour it into the funnel. Don't rush this process. Pouring too quickly can cause air bubbles and backsplash, creating a slippery mess. Remember, slow and steady wins the race, especially when it comes to pouring fluids. As you're pouring, keep an eye on the oil level. Most oil bottles have handy measurement markings on the side, allowing you to keep track of how much you've poured. However, don't rely solely on these markings. We'll be doing a proper oil level check with the dipstick in a bit. With the fresh oil safely inside the engine, it's time for the moment of truth, checking the oil level. This is where the often forgotten dipstick comes into play. This simple yet crucial tool will tell us if we've added enough oil or if our engine is thirsty for more. Locate the dipstick, usually a brightly colored handle sticking out from the engine block, pull it out, wipe it clean with a rag, and then reinsert it fully. Now, pull it out again and hold it horizontally, examining the oil level on the end of the dipstick. The dipstick will have 2 marks, indicating the minimum and maximum oil levels. Ideally, you want the oil level to be between these 2 marks, closer to the upper mark without exceeding it. If the oil level is below the minimum mark, you'll need to add more oil. Add a small amount at a time, rechecking the level frequently until it reaches the desired range. Remember, overfilling is just as bad as underfilling. Too much oil can cause engine damage, so it's crucial to get it just right. With the oil level right where it should be, give yourself a pat on the back. You've successfully navigated the ins and outs of an oil change, and your car is thanking you for it. Now, before you hit the open road, let's button things up and ensure everything is shipshape. First things first, double check that both the oil filler cap and the dipstick are securely reinserted. We don't want any leaks or surprises on our next drive. Next, take a quick glance under the car, inspecting for any signs of leaks around the drain plug or oil filter. A few stray drops are normal immediately after an oil change, but a steady drip warrants further investigation. Finally, gather up all your tools, rags, and that container of used oil. Remember, proper disposal is crucial. We'll cover that in detail in the next section. For now, take a moment to admire your handiwork and bask in the satisfaction of a job well done. You've just extended the life of your car and saved yourself a few bucks in the process. And that, my friends, is something worth celebrating. Alright gearheads, we've conquered the oil change, but our job ain't done yet. This stuff is considered hazardous waste. Dumping it down the drain or tossing it in the trash is a big no-no. We gotta dispose of it responsibly. First things first, let's talk storage. That old milk jug might seem convenient, but it's not worth the risk. Opt for a sturdy, leak-proof container. Label it clearly with the words, used motor oil. Find a proper disposal location. Don't pour it down the drain or toss it in the trash. So we've got our used oil all bottled up and labeled like a dangerous potion. Now what? Recycling is our best bet. Used motor oil can be refined and reused, reducing our reliance on virgin oil. A quick online search for used oil recycling near me will reveal options. Many auto parts stores, mechanics shops, and municipalities have collection points. Remember, every little bit helps when it comes to protecting our planet. You've successfully changed your oil and disposed of the waste responsibly. There you have it. You just took your car from grimy to glorious with a fresh oil change. Feels good, doesn't it? Remember, regular maintenance like this is like giving your car a big old bear hug. It keeps it running smooth, prevents costly repairs down the road, and gives you that proud feeling of knowing you did it yourself. We covered a lot of ground today, from draining that old, sludgy oil to installing a fresh filter and filling it up with that golden elixir. We even tackled the responsible disposal of hazardous waste, because we're eco-conscious gearheads. But most importantly, you learned that changing your own oil isn't rocket science. With a little patience, the right tools, and a can-do attitude, anyone can tackle this essential car maintenance task. Just remember those key takeaways. Use the correct oil and filter for your vehicle, prioritize safety, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. So, next time your car's dashboard throws you that oil change reminder, don't sweat it. You've got this. Channel your inner mechanic, grab your tools, and show that engine who's boss. And hey, if you ever need a refresher course, you know where to find me. Speaking of finding me, if you enjoyed this step-by-step guide and found it helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to the How To channel for more awesome car maintenance tips and tricks. We've got a whole garage full of DIY projects just waiting to be unleashed. Until then, keep on wrenching, stay greasy, and remember, a well-maintained car is a happy car, and a happy car means a happy driver. So go out there and enjoy the open road, knowing your engine is purring like a kitten thanks to your hard work. Until next time, happy driving.